Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Viva La Cats. We've had a few weeks off, but we are here nonetheless. It is May. We are finally into spring, summer for some of the rest of us, but we are excited to be here nonetheless. Bearcats, not a ton going on lately, but we do have a special few guests for you today, so we're going to get to that here in a few minutes. We're going to kick off with a few of the things that have happened in the meantime in the past few weeks. Steve, kick us off with some baseball.
Yeah, real quick. Baseball has won 3 straight conference series for the first time since 2016. So it's been a while. They beat UCF on the road. They beat West Virginia this weekend at home. And then they are going on the road to face BYU this upcoming weekend. But excuse me, they beat Houston the weekend before. So 3 straight series wins for your baseball Bearcats. Base Cats, Bat Cats, we're still figuring it out. They are number 6 in the standings right now in the Big 12 tournament, in Big 12 baseball standings. And for a team that was picked to finish last this year by the preseason media, the fake news media, that's pretty good. So I am really happy about the way this team's playing. Shout out to Jordan Bischel. He's been getting a lot of love from Kendall Rogers at d1baseball.com, but well deserved. I mean, you know, this we know Justin, this program is not the greatest at really producing and being able to kind of get that vibe of baseball in Cincinnati onto the college campus here at UC. So I'm really happy about it. Like I'm glad that they're playing well, and they've got 2 more series to really take advantage before they get to the conference tournament. They still have an outside chance at a bid for the big dance. So I'm really looking forward to their chances.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the biggest thing that, we've talked about. We've been trying to find what's that other sport? What's that extra thing for the Bearcats that can kind of get them on the board, gets a little bit more recognition and not just focus on football and basketball so much. It's tough, but those are our leading sports and those have been for a while. So for that's kind of been our focus, and hopefully, baseball can go and make a little run here. Next thing on the docket, we got one final basketball scholarship. We talked a few weeks ago and we hit it right around the time everything was happening. And then it has been radio silence since. There's been a lot of buzz around a few potential recruits that we could be getting through the portal, but nothing really fully solidified. And we've had some visits. We've had some great names thrown in the mix. The one hot one right now is Dylan Mitchell from Texas. If you guys remember that name, he did play pretty decently through his first 2 years. Of course, we ended up getting the Dazoo game where he dropped 33, but Mitchell, definitely a strong presence for Longhorns, and would be a very solid pickup for the Bearcats as a power forward. I think he could start right away if we were to pick him up. But again, everything's just been kind of so up in the air lately that we don't really know what exactly is going on. We just know that there's some names in the mix, and we've been trying to figure it out. People are trying to play the Twitter game. Who's following who? Are the coaches doing this or that? Where's everybody located? And that's kind of been the past few weeks. So nothing too solid yet. Steve, what are your thoughts there?
I would love to have Dylan Mitchell. I would love to have Dylan Dessou, but either one of those, I know Dylan Dessou is not able to play college basketball anymore. But Dylan Mitchell, just looking at the stats here, 4.3 points per game, able to provide some rebounds. But what I'm just noticing right now, Justin, he's just a young kid. And I think that there's an ability for us to bring in a young guy on this roster and really give him a chance to succeed. He's going to be a junior this year with already 2 years of college basketball experience. And, there was one name that we all kind of thought might have a chance to be on the roster here, but he was just kind of a younger guy. And while there was a relationship there, he ended up, opting for more playing time because, let's just say his name, Sean Stewart, might not have got as much playing time just because he's young and they're trying to have more experienced players. I think Dylan Mitchell kind of answers that, even though he's got one more year of experience, played in 72 games over his last 2 years at Texas. And that says a true freshman, true sophomore. That's just Big 12 experience right there. I know, I'm sorry, I read 4.3. That was for 22-23. He had 9.6 points a game this year. And the rebounds, 7.5 rebounds per game. Averaging almost a double-double. Get those numbers up a little bit here at UC. I'll take that. That's a solid bench big behind Aziz.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like I said, I think the biggest thing here is just trying to fill some of those gaps, trying to make sure that we have a really strong rotation. Of course, we already do, but if you can make it even better, if you can really create some more locker room competition, that can only be a good thing. Of course, like people might say, like, oh, you've got freshmen behind him, like that could kind of spook them, or maybe they're not going to get the playing time that they're looking for. Ultimately, you want to field the best team possible. This is the Big 12. You're not talking about saving as much. You want to get the best guys out on the floor, and you want to get things to start clicking now.
And isn't it funny too that Texas is going to the SEC and he's like, no, I want to stay in the best basketball conference there is. I want to go stay in the Big 12. Like, it's just funny, man. Like we as Bearcat fans lived a charmed life right now, just because like we are in the best basketball conference in the country and one of the better football conferences in the country as well. Shout out to P4, man. I'm just happy about it. Like I love it. Like I'm so glad that we are in this position.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's, it's nice to finally be in a spot too, where you're competing for some of these recruits and some of these athletes that are so highly touted. I looked at his 247 coming out of high school. I believe he was a top 10 item there. So like, that's a really, really big spot. And if you can get that as the Bearcats, that's huge. I mean, that ultimately is going to determine a lot of your success for some of these years coming. Wes has done a fantastic job recruiting. He's put a lot of guys in the right places at the right times to get this team where it needs to be for the future and setting everything up for the Big 12. So super excited for that. And hopefully we land him. Hopefully if we don't land him, we land another guy that we can get in a starting spot, and not just a bench guy, but somebody that you can really hope you can rely on for some solid minutes, hopefully 20 plus. Steve, we've got Bowl by Boulder on here. Please, we've talked about this so many times, but just remind us, what is this? What does this mean?
This is the official kickoff, Justin, of the hashtag Bowl by Boulder campaign. Look, UC football, not very good last year. I understand that. But you look at our win total, we're at 5 this year. Last year, 4.5. Clearly went under that. I feel that we have a good chance to go over that, and here's why. At CFB Numbers on Twitter posted this graph where the average opponent win total for all Power 4 teams. And UC is in the bottom left quadrant, which means, they have a preseason win total of 5, but they have an average opponent win total of 6.5. And if you look at the teams that are on our schedule in that first 2/3 of the season, you've got Towson, Pitt, Miami, and you've also got games against Arizona State, Houston, and Colorado. I see 6 wins there, Justin. I'm not like talking hyperbole there when I see 6. Like, I know it's obviously like we're not the best team, but
right.
I feel like if you're in year 2, you feel confident about where you're going with Sorsby as your quarterback, and you feel better about your defense with Tyson Veit. I feel like they can win 6 games there just by 4. Like, well, Miami, they beat us last year, whatever. Towson, Arizona State, Houston, you're probably better than. Colorado, by that point in the season, you might be better than, just because of injuries and whatever's going on with them. And, they beat Pitt last year. I have a good feeling they can beat Pitt again. And you just got to win that Miami game. So get the bell back. So this is our official push, Justin. Hashtag Bowl by Boulder. We want to see you all posting that hashtag as well, because that month of November is not very pretty for your Bearcats. No. You have to go on the road twice to Iowa State and Kansas State, back-to-back weeks. Like, no thanks. I'm good.
We don't usually get to catch a lot of breaks, not in the Big 12 anymore. That is covering pretty much everything to get us up to speed. And that's even manufacturing little things here too. But somebody else who's manufacturing some stuff, we got a quick run here. Charlie Hustle, fantastic gear. Steve's got it on right there. They're providing the Bearcats and the rest of the Big 12, as well as a few other schools with some fantastic gear. So make sure to go to www.charliehustle.com for all the freshest vintage gear. You can get it with the 101215 promo code. That is 101215 for 15% off of all non-sale items. Check it out. Get you some good stuff. Get you some good merch. And keep on moving. Guys, we've got a few special guests here today. You're going to have to forgive me for a second because my layouts are screwed up. I wasn't sure if we were going to get all 3 in one or if we were going to get it everywhere else. So the screen's going to be a little muddy for a second, but we'll figure it out. With that aside, we have UC Disc Golf, guys, we're going to get you in here on the stage. Perfect.
How's it
going, everybody?
Good. How are you?
Good to have you boys here.
Fantastic. Yeah, we've been trying to get this for a while. Steve doesn't play disc golf as much. I play it like 3 times a week. So I've been trying to get you guys on because clearly there's been a lot of success around the program, for the past few years. And this is not anything new, but I think for a lot of our listeners, but also for a lot of Bearcats fans, this is also a little bit of new information. So we want to promote a little bit more of the club sports. We want to promote a little bit more of these sports that don't get as much attention. You guys deserve it by all means. So for today on the show, we have, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and please tell everybody exactly what has happened over the past few weeks, but also the past few seasons, because I know you guys have some individual accolades that I'm going to list off real quick, but we have #1 power ranking for 2 of these guys in one little video, 2 of them across different seasons. And on top of that, we have the 2023 national champions and the 2024 runner-ups, UC Disc Golf. Guys, hit me.
Yeah, absolutely. To start off, my name is Thomas Young. I'm a 5th-year aerospace engineering student. I am currently the president of the club. While I am not a part of the A team, the team that competes primarily for all those national champion titles, but I do a lot of the logistics and setting everything up for that. Let the ones who compete better than me go ahead and go. Tanner, go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Tanner Young. I was on the national championship team from last year that you were referring to, as well as I was last year's individual national champion for college disc golf. Ilkin?
My name is Ilkin Groh. I'm a mechanical engineer. First year, I'm a freshman, so I was not actually a part of the team that won in 2023. But while I wasn't on that team, I was doing my own individual stuff. So I won the 2022 Junior World Championship in the 1800 division. And I was the U.S. Amateur Champion in 2022. And then I was runner-up at Nationals this year on the individual side. So, yeah, that's a little bit of my backstory.
Just a little. So much.
It's crazy to think about, because right there we have between the UCA team, there are 3 major champions, like 3 major championship titles on our team, and that is 3 more than any other school in the country.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely crazy to think about the fact that we have such an amazing group of guys here to play with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Tanner, are you an engineering student as well?
I am not. I'm actually in the business college, majoring in operations management.
The better college, I say.
Yes.
I was gonna try and make a joke that are we getting like an engineering disc golf like kind of like NIL package going? We getting guys on scholarship to be engineering students, and then also like, hey, on the side, if you could go play this weekend,
we appreciate it. Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So, but I am curious though, what led you all to UC? Like, how did you end up coming to UC? I obviously understand, the engineering and business schools are both great, but what kind of led you guys to becoming Bearcats?
Yeah. So I think I'll start primarily as an engineer, the co-op program, 100%. I think I only applied to 2 or 3 different schools and I got accepted to all of them. But I mean, the financial gains that Cincinnati has with their co-op programs and the amount of great experience that I'm going to get going out of college is going to be fantastic. I didn't join the disc golf club up until my 2nd year, I believe. And so I was playing extremely casually up until that 2nd year. And I think it was really cool to see a whole bunch of guys like prior to these last 2 years, UC disc golf wasn't definitely not as big as it has gotten. Mm-hmm. And so it's really cool to kind of be on the forefront of seeing everything grow from when I came here just as an engineering student to now being the president of trying to get everything drilled down so we can go back and reclaim the title next year and trying as hard as we could to fight for it last year. And so, Yeah, I would definitely say the co-op program, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I have a very similar story too. UC across the board is great for co-ops and internships, and the business college is also very good. And I just want to stay close to home as well. And UC is that for me. It's a 30-minute commute for me. And I also, unlike Tommy, I did kind of know a little bit about the disc golf club, and that was definitely high on my list of priorities. And I'm just excited I was so excited to come here and join the disc golf club. And yeah, that's really that was a big factor in me coming here too.
Yeah. And for me, I'm going to echo what they said a lot. But I live only like 15 minutes out, so I don't even live on campus. I'm a commuter, and I just loved having it be all close by. And then I learned about the co-op program, and I was like, oh, this sounds awesome. I know their engineering program is great, and that's what I was going into. So yeah, that was a big factor for me. But then I also already knew a lot of the guys on the team from playing in individual tournaments throughout the years. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I know they just won the national championship the year before, so I was like, let's go.
Pretty easy recruiting.
So you were in the juniors, so you're basically pulling like the KD move here, right?
Kind of. It was so funny because when I this past fall, when I was running at the org fair, I was running the table, and I was meeting all these people, and I remember one of the guys that graduated now, Truman. He was telling me, like, yeah, we got this guy Ilkin who's he's like a major champion. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And I'm like shaking hands with everybody, meeting everyone. And then they're talking for a second. Ilkin like finishes talking with us, and Truman's like, "Yeah, that was Ilkin." I was like, "That was Ilkin," and I run back. And I try to, "Hey man, oh, it's so great to meet you, dude." Like, yeah, make sure you want some free here, have some merch.
Yeah, you got to make sure you take care of the recruits, man.
Exactly.
That keeps the program going. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about, we've kind of mentioned a few times already. Of course, last year winning the national championship, this year coming so close.
Yep.
So close. I looked into it a little bit, and from what it sounds like, UNC Charlotte hit a eagle on 18.
Absolutely insane. Yeah. Gosh. The fact that we were up by 2 strokes going into that 18th hole. And the fact that they had an 80-foot putt on a hole that had maybe one other eagle on the entire weekend. And then just the craziest thing is how amazing of a putt as it was, just the luck that went into it, seeing the face of the guy putting. He's like, oh, I missed it. And then he's like, oh wait, no, it actually went in. And then to battle it out through, 3 holes for the tiebreaker and the sudden death was crazy. And it was stressful, especially considering we were sitting and watching for the full hole and stress and everything else. It's a crazy feeling being, and we had pretty much the same thing happen to Emporia the year that we actually won.
Oh, yeah.
We had already finished and we were behind, and then Emporia just absolutely blew up. So it's like, one of these years we're just gonna run away with it and give absolutely no contest to it.
Yeah, because we were down going into that final round, 4 or 5. We were down big.
I was gonna say, you guys were on the chase card, right?
We made a huge comeback to have that lead coming into the final hole. And when they were at 80 feet and the first guy missed, dude, I thought we had it in the bag so easy. It was heartbreaking, man.
Yep.
I'm sure. Well, so we've kind of touched on that, but with that said, what is it like playing in the national championship? This is back-to-back years. You guys have been in it. What's it like playing in that level?
Well,
I'll let Tanner take that one.
It's definitely more stressful, and there's a lot more at stake than just your regular everyday tournament or even just a regional college tournament. And the target on our backs is only growing the better we keep playing. And so just the bar just keeps being set higher and higher. And just trying to meet that is the biggest challenge, I think.
Yeah. And I've played in a lot of big tournaments so far in my career, but national championship is a whole new level because you're not playing for yourself anymore. You're playing for a team. You're playing for a club. It's not even the 3 guys on your team. It's the 12 guys who all made the journey out, who are all now caddying for you, who are hyped for you. And I mean, as much fun as it is, because it is an absolute blast, it is also so much pressure, and it's so sad to mess up, because you're like, you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting the whole team, and it's rough for sure.
It's really cool to see, because I can't think of another disc golf event that requires so much teamwork. Everything is singles round based on yourself. You can occasionally find a doubles tournament, but for the most part, this is college doubles, which has 4 people on a team, which there's no other tournaments that do that. And so being able to go down there with your team plus the 8 other guys that are on the B's and C teams, you build great friendships. You get to go out, and like he was saying, so I'm part of the B team, and so the B team would caddy for the A team when we finished our round. And so they would be walking around, and we would just be hanging out with them, helping them out, and like making sure everything's just sitting as a club and making sure that we can be there wherever we can and help however we can. Personally, I haven't experienced that stress, because not being as good as them, I'm there to have a whole lot of fun with a whole lot of like other teams. And that's definitely the vibe for like the B teams and the C teams. The A teams are where that's the one that everybody cares about. The B teams and C teams are there for, it's basically who can compete the best for second place. And so there's a lot more fun. There's you get a lot more like entertaining characters, and the cards are usually a lot lighter. And so it's definitely a very different kind of mindset, seeing the lead cards and stuff going into the A team.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, this is the thing that's, we found it's so interesting, because for, the football team, for the basketball team, for some of these other sports that have been playing at a high level for a long time and have been, kind of around the bend because they're sponsored scholarship sports, they get a lot of the noise, but they also, we've been trying to get that like national championship contending type of team, in 2021 with the playoff, we had that, and it really felt there. But, of course, carpet kind of gets pulled out from under you. This is awesome, because, we do have a team that is competing at such a high level. And we are really glad that we have that. And this is the thing, like I said, we really want to bring some more energy to this and bring some more awareness to the team as a whole. Yeah, because it deserves it. And I mean, this is a thing that just gets overlooked. Club sports don't always get looked at like that, but when you play at such a high level, it definitely deserves the recognition. So we still have a ton of questions for you guys, but for those of you who aren't already following, I know you guys are mainly on Instagram. Are you on anything else besides that?
We are, we're primarily on Instagram. I think we're kind of in the process. So in years prior, we have rarely even done any sort of social media presence, but ever since the 2023 Nationals and now 2024, we kind of really buckled down, had a nice hour and a half long meeting right after Nationals. And we were like, okay, here we created a huge 4 or 5 page list of just things that we want to change about the club, things that we want to add to the club. And one of those biggest things is a more a larger appearance for the club itself. And so that's doing things exactly like this podcast. We're doing a lot more posts. I think we've had more posts on our Instagram page since Nationals than we've had even before that. And so that account's been created for years and nobody's posted to it. And so we've assigned so before we had a president and a treasurer, and now I think we have 8 or 9 different positions in the clubs that are specified to doing things like this, doing things like running the social media, doing things like trying to find fundraising opportunities, some sponsorships, trying to set up events with other schools, trying to meet up with other pros to get our name out there. It's a lot of just trying to, exactly like you said, get the sport out there, get the UC name out there, because I mean, the fact of the matter is we're now 2 years into a dynasty of freshmen and sophomores who are going to be on this team. And so they got at least 2 or 3 more years of this same team under their belts. And so it's going to be great to really kind of showcase that. And so Instagram's definitely the number one place that we've been posting a lot of that. I think we're trying to move possibly towards a YouTube channel, but I think that's a little bit more along the way. That's going to need a little bit more development than just the idea of, oh, let's do a YouTube channel. Perfect. And now we're just going to get that going. But yeah, but Instagram's definitely the number one medium that we've been focusing on.
Okay. Yeah. And so, for those of you who aren't already, make sure to follow them. It's at UC Discats. That's Discats, not Disc Cats. Discats.
1C.
1C. 1C. Steve, you got next, man.
All right. So I'll keep it pretty simple. I'm not as experienced of a disc player as any of you guys. So I just want to hear from you next time I'm out trying to go play some disc golf. What's the best course in the tri-state area?
Ooh, that's debatable.
That's a really good question. That's a tough question for sure. Man.
Burnett Woods. No.
Yeah, Burnett, 100%. But Burnett's great for. I mean, that's where the school practices. It's easy to get 20 guys out there just to mob it because the fact of the matter is it's not great, and so nobody ever goes to it, and so you don't have to worry about clogging up the course. Man, in the tri-state area, I mean. Personally, as somebody who is not as super technical, but there's this really kind of small golf course that a bunch of the B team guys like called Dunham. It's under no means a very good course, but it's just really fun to play, and it's really goofy layout, nice and wide open. It's great for kind of doing some safari holes. You can make up the course as you go, and it's a quick play. And you could be having the best day or the worst day, and you could shoot pretty much the same there. And that's kind of, it's a much more relaxed, fun course to play.
Is that the one on the west side?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
There
we go,
baby.
Yeah.
See,
it's talking about.
Yep. The one that's about 10 or 15 minutes away from here. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
You're talking to a west sider here. So I knew
Oh, there you go.
Dunham.
Yeah.
I was like,
right in your
exactly.
backyard. Yeah.
Link style.
Yep.
Yeah, and while Burnett and Dunham are really good, especially if you're more of a beginner or getting into it, those are great options. Like all levels can play there. But if you want to try a course that is more like pro level, actually down in Kentucky, just like 30 minutes off campus, I'd say, there's a course called Idlewild, and that is where they hold a pro tour. So the best pros in the world come every single year, and it's a prestigious tournament with tens, maybe $100,000s of dollars on the line. It's one of the bigger tournaments in the world, a part of the Pro Tour circuit. Hopefully I can play this year. That's my goal. I got to qualify. But yeah, that's one. And then another course that's right next to the campus is Mount Airy. That's my home course. That's where I play the most. So that's my favorite.
Awesome.
Do you get to keep your eligibility if you go pro?
Yeah. So that's a very interesting thing. So I actually am a professional disc golfer, classified officially. I've made not much money, maybe $5
not a big deal.
Yeah, so you don't make a lot of money, and the rule around it is you're not allowed to be what is called a premier pro by PDGA, Professional Disc Golf Association standards, which basically means you cannot be above a certain rating, which is 1,000. I'm currently 1012, so I'm 1,012 rated. So you cannot be above that and also have made $4,000 in one calendar year. So as long as I stay under the $4,000 mark, I'm okay to continue playing college sports and be as high rated as I want to be, as long as I stay under that standard, basically.
So they're just trying to limit you.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
If you want to look at it like that, yeah.
He's too good.
Listen, you're telling me, like, it's crazy. Like,
I played a tournament this last week and it did not go well. Believe me.
Well, we know he's human. Okay, we know he's human now.
No, he's just trying to level it out. He's just
that's
trying
exactly
to
what
get
it is. Yeah,
at that $9.99. If he can hover right there, he'll be.
It's perfect level. Yeah.
What about you, man?
For me, as far as my favorite course goes, it's definitely Idlewild. I'm actually from Northern Kentucky.
Okay.
And so I play there a couple times every week. And much like Ilkin, I'm also trying to qualify to go play in the Pro Tour event come the summer. And Idlewild's a great course if you're looking to really test yourself and your limits really out there on the course. So I recommend that.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I have actually yet to play Idlewild, but because unfortunately I didn't really get into it until like part of the big COVID boom back in about 20.
I mean, I was the same. That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
I mean, I think pretty much everybody did, but I lived in Michigan at the time, so it was in a much different landscape. A lot of great courses up there.
Oh yeah.
But for those of you who aren't familiar with Idlewild, like they said, it is where they play Pro Tour stop. So August 9th to 11th this year. If you're interested and you want to learn some more, it's a very good way to access pros. You're really close to the action. You get to watch and, you know, kind of see all that. They've got the male and female pro opens there. So make sure to check that out down there in August in Burlington.
Yeah, and another thing, they're also always looking for volunteers. I know that a lot of the UC guys on the team will go out there and we'll volunteer just because we enjoy it. It's a great way to get really close to the pros and really close to the action. And I mean, it's super fun. And I know they're always looking, so it's always great. That's a great way to get out there and kind of experience it on a much closer level.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is another thing we got for you here. I'm curious because, like we've mentioned, this is not a full sponsored sport. What is it like playing in a club sport at such a high level where there is so much pressure, but then also, do you have enough backing from the university? Do you wish there was more? And, say what you need to say, but let it fly, man. Like I really want to know because I know that club sports are not really well represented. And when you're playing at this level, you should be. So tell us, how is it?
That is definitely a very large problem that we have run into specifically in this last year. So I've only been the president for this last season. And just in the 8 months that I've been, I have noticed two things. One, the club was ran so incredibly poorly before going into this season. And two, the university does a very, very bad job of kind of explaining what needs to be done in order to get the support you need, as well as they don't do the best job at then provide, even if you do jump through all those hoops, providing what is necessary. Right. So competing at the caliber that we are, we have to do, as required by college disc golf, we have a regional event, a qualifying event, and then nationals. So that's 3 events that we are required to play no matter what. And in between there, we'll usually play 1 or 2 more events. So on that, we have to, there's the rule that if you're outside of a 100-mile radius or 150 miles, you have to get rental cars. You have to stay at they recommend staying at hotels because for them, it's significantly easier to process all the payments for hotels. And so, I mean, that automatically adds money because Airbnbs are usually cheaper when you have 12 guys going somewhere.
Right.
And so just with that, I think we spent close to probably between $20,000 and $25,000 this season. So from August to nationals, which was the first week of April, we spent around $25,000. And I think we got around maybe $8K from the university. I think we only got about $8K from the university. The majority of that was due to a miscommunication at the beginning of the semester. So every club sport has to create a budget. And so when we created a budget, we were told, create the budget for your fall semester and then, or for the full year. And then what we'll do is we'll give you however much money you need. We'll give you half of the money that we think we can give you in the fall. And then we'll give you the other half in the spring. And we're like, perfect, because half the stuff's in the fall, half the stuff in the spring. Well, come the end of the fall semester, we've planned and budgeted everything out. Like, okay, we can with this amount of money that we're going to be getting. And then with fundraising and stuff, we're going to be perfect. And then springtime comes. They're like, yeah, no, we never said that. All the money we gave you in the fall was the money that you're going to get. We're not giving you anything in the spring. And we're like, well, you told us specifically. It's like, I'm sorry, you have no proof of that. And then because I mean, it was all, we had like 8 or 9 meetings with these guys in person because that's the best way that we found to talk to them. And so it's just one of those things where, and we also found out that during this season, they were doing a lot of transitions between power of people in the, in like the funding department and stuff like club sports and the RSO. They transitioned to like a brand new system. There was a whole lot of things going on and a whole lot of problems. So there's not a whole lot of support being a club sport. Their kind of expectation is you're still a club. And so the use like club sports does want to help as much as they can, but in their minds, it's not like a legitimate sport that has like all the scholarships and the funding and all that. And so personally I would say not to like, I don't know, I don't want to say brag or anything, but like, I do think that we're like the highest performing club sport that's a part of.
I'd agree.
Right now.
Back-to-back national championship appearances.
Exactly.
Top 2 finishes in 2 years in a row. I mean,
and so, and the fact that there really isn't like any difference between the way that they treat teams like the UC disc golf team and then any other team that's performing and who maybe don't go to national championships or anything like that. Like they all get the same type of funding. And so it's something that I really would hope. And there's a lot of work that I'm myself and the treasurer, Alex Doty, who is not, he's not here right now. But we're working a lot with the RSO people, a lot of the funding group to try to figure out, okay, what is the best way that we can kind of collaborate as a group to really get that going. And so all that extra money, that deficit that we had to come through that we had to earn. We did a couple of different volunteer things where what a lot of companies will do is they'll ask for like big groups of volunteers and they'll actually pay you like $10 an hour to go and do it. And so we did one where we volunteered at a Duke Energy Center convention. And so we had like 20 guys or so stand guard doors for 8 hours. And we made $1,200 doing that. We got a lot of, I reached out to a couple of companies, got some donations from larger companies. And so we set up some accounts that we were able to use that money. And then GoFundMe's were a great way to get stuff. But a lot of from club sports, a lot of it comes from fundraising, donations, or sponsorships.
Yeah. And I mean, and then there's, the out of pocket too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people miss.
Yeah. There's a lot like UC doesn't cover any like food that's purchased there. So we have to cover all our food. A lot of times we'll have to pay for our own gas because it's hard to keep track of everybody doing like all of that. What else? We have to, our own gear. Like we have to get our own gear and stuff like that. If we want to have like UC merchandise, there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through just to get a shirt that has the UC logo on it. Like to the point where they give you a very small like stipend to buy like custom like jerseys and stuff like that. And even if we want to go to the bookstore and we want to be like, hey, can we just buy 12 polos? Like it's not as easy as that. Because if we're going to go compete on some of these things are recorded and posted on YouTube, and that's where a lot of this stuff comes in. We're like, oh, well, technically you didn't like pay to have the logo shown on YouTube and stuff like that. And so it seems like there are so many circus hoops that you have to jump through in order to really get to where you'd think it would be really easy to just be like, oh yeah, it's fine. I mean, you're 4 college students trying to play disc golf with other schools. But right. It is nowhere near as simple as that. Yeah. Well, and that's, I noticed that you're actually wearing a pretty hard shirt right there.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
The truth plaid there. That's perfect.
Yep.
Maybe somewhere in the works, somebody can help figure these guys out a little bit of that Cincy Reigns money, because I mean, Cincy Light is selling like hotcakes. So
yeah,
that's the solution. I don't know. But
no, 100%. That was one of the things that after nationals, when we sat down, we're like, okay, we are getting sponsorships. We are getting donations. We're gonna really work towards getting like bag sponsors or shirt sponsors, and working with like local companies, like working with Rheingeist, working with some of like the local coffee breweries and some of the local stores or disc golf shops that are around here. There are so many places that are that are really known for like the brands that are known for supporting disc golf, that a lot of them are around Cincy. So it's a really great opportunity to kind of buckle down and like just meet face to face with some of these partners and be like, hey, let's help each other out here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Here, a little bit of a gear shift. Steve.
Excuse me. Sorry. Moving out of that into a different question, I want to know, what is the best shot you guys have hit this year? I mean, I don't want to hear any like perfect type stuff. I want to hear like your thoughts. Like what do you got?
So I actually just recently hit my very first ace.
Nice.
It only took 4 years to do it. It was like a 290-foot hyzer shot that I've performed 1,500 times, and it finally went in just one time. So I was very happy about that. I would definitely say that one.
Where at?
It's at a Vineyard Disc Golf. It's the one that right near Princeton.
Okay.
Yeah, hole 18. It's on the Instagram page.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. There we go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Check it out.
Got that one on video.
How about the rest of you guys?
Tanner?
My best shot is probably, I think within the last 4 months, I got an ace at another one of my home courses down in Northern Kentucky, Boone Woods. It's a 360-foot, slightly uphill wooded hole. And I always throw a backhand on this hole. And this time I threw a forehand on it. I've never thrown a forehand on that hole ever. And first shot, and it skipped right in.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Little skip ace. That's all.
And
Yeah.
if we're talking for college tournaments too, Tanner threw one of the nastiest backhands I've ever seen on it was at one of our regional tournaments, 500-foot downhill. The wind was absolutely ripping. It was insane. And he freaking parked it. It was one of the most impressive shots I have ever seen. That was not an ace or anything.
Do we have that on video?
That was insane. Yeah. For me, all-time best shot, I made a 60-foot putt to win the amateur championships in a 7-hole sudden death playoff.
Wow.
So that would be my favorite shot I've ever
The man
made.
never wavers.
Not too bad.
That would be my favorite shot. But as recently is concerned, at another one of our regionals where we actually qualified for D1, I won the individual side by 3 strokes, and I was able to eagle one of the par 4s that was 500, 600 feet downhill. It was really downhill, but it was really far, but it
Still
was
a crush.
It's still an absolute bomb. And then I made a 40-footer on top of it. So that was probably my favorite shot of the year so far.
That's awesome. Well, we've been talking about that. So the perfect segue. This is probably always going to be the most contested question. Everybody's picky. Everybody's got the things. For those of you who don't play disc golf, if you play golf, you know your clubs, you know what brand you go to. Disc golf is the exact same way. If anything, it's worse because there's so many more options.
I would say so.
For you guys, each, I need to know the following. What's the best brand? And then what is your go-to putter, mid, and driver? We're going to educate everybody on here because clearly we have a lot of high caliber play going on. So I also need to know what I need to bag from you guys. So
That's fair.
Fair.
Yeah,
I'll start this one. Favorite brand is very, very hard for me to answer. To be frank with you, I am still unsponsored. Most players who reach my rating point are sponsored. The reason I've gone unsponsored so far is because I have 0 social media presence. I have no Instagram. I have no social media individually at all. So companies are hesitant to pick me up.
Good for you, by the way.
Stay focused.
He's the best of us. Like they say.
Yeah. So for that reason, I haven't gone to one brand specifically. So I throw a lot of brands. I would say my favorites are Discraft and Innova. Those are show up the most in my bag. As far as putt, mid, and driver, my favorite driver is 100% the Destroyer. I have 3 different Halo Destroyers in my bag right now. And then I've got a bunch at home. Those are cycling in and out as my go-to. As far as a mid-range, to be honest, I don't throw mid-ranges. I'll throw one every once in a while, but my game consists of the zone is a putt and approach officially, but it flies for me almost as far as a mid-range would go. So I go straight from that zone, which is like a putt and approach, to a driver basically. So anything that's 300 feet and in, I'll throw a zone on for the most part. Anything that's further than that, I'll throw a fairway or a Destroyer. So the zone's my favorite mid, we can call it, I guess, even though it's a putt and approach. And then my go-to putter is the old trusty classic blend Judge. It's been my putter for all my big wins, and I'm not going away from it right now. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Perfect.
Yeah. I would say that my go-to brand is probably Discraft. Up until Nationals, actually, I had not bagged a single disc that wasn't Discraft, except for the Berg. I am a huge advocate for the Castoplast Berg. It's just a dinky one speed that you throw it. You can throw it as hard as you can. It'll go 200 feet and then it'll just drop. And then that's all you have to worry about. It's perfect.
I think we know your putter now.
Yes. But yeah, so I mean, up for my like when I started getting discs, I had a lot of Discraft stuff, and I was like, well, I know I didn't feel like learning about anything else, and so I just kept buying Discraft discs because I know how the plastic feels, I know how their flight plates look, and like what each one will do. But then I started noticing there's a lot of inconsistency with some of my drivers, and so one of my buddies recommended the Destroyers from Innova. And so then I picked one of those up and I absolutely fell in love with it. And so then I was like, okay, well, maybe I should try some more Innova stuff. And so now I think probably a quarter of my bag's Innova now, but the majority is still Discraft.
Nice.
My drivers are probably between right now the Destroyers, or I'm still a fan of the Discraft Nukes. I am starting to like the Nukes. I've been changing my form a lot, so I'm getting a lot more torque with my long arms, and so I'm spinning it a lot faster. So I need to get some of those higher speed, more stable discs, which is nice. My go-to mid-range is definitely the Buzz.
Easy.
Yeah,
money.
I mean it's a simple decision. It's so versatile. You can get there's so many different types, and depending on whatever run you get, it's going to be great. And then
I literally just picked one of those up for the first time this past week.
Yeah,
I've thrown them before, but I've never actually owned one.
Yep.
Now that I'm bagging it, like I've thrown it for
everything, literally everything. It's perfect. Like you can disc it down for a 275-foot shot, or you can full power it for 350, and that's what the majority of the courses around here are. So that's perfect. So you can go out to any course around here with a Buzz, and you'll be perfectly fine.
This is the 7-iron. And
that's exactly what it is. It's the 7-iron.
This is your trusty 7.
Your trusty 7. And then I putt with Discraft Lunas. I have putt with Lunas since day one, and I am afraid to go away from them because if I do, bad things will probably happen.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to echo a lot of what these guys said. I think Discraft and Innova are the top 2 manufacturers in the game right now. And you can't go wrong with a Nuke, a Destroyer, or a Zone. But for me, I'm really known for my putting, and I putt with the Challenger SS.
Okay.
I love just a dead straight putter that's not going to really hook left for you. I love just point and shoot, dead straight, and I think a lot of people need to try the Challenger SS. I think it's kind of underrated. But speaking of underrated, I think the most underrated disc that everybody needs to bag is the Mako 3. It's a mid-range. It just goes dead straight. I bag 2 or 3 of them at times, and I think everybody needs to stick one of those in their bag and throw it, especially if you're starting out and you're just getting into it. You need a disc that's just going to go dead straight, and the Mako 3 is going to do that and teach you how to work all angles with it and throw it. So try out a Mako 3.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would say, and then kind of going off of recommendations for beginners, I would recommend, like I said, the Buzz. Buzz is great. I love the Buzz. And then kind of a starting driver that I found is good. Get yourself some ESP Undertakers. A little bit flippier 9-speed disc. It's a good segue to get from that mid-range to a higher speed. And so a lot of people don't have the arm speed. Like, hell, I don't even think I have the arm speed for like a Destroyer or a Nuke. I still throw it anyway. But those 9 speeds are really good to kind of figure out. As soon as you start getting those right, you can get those as far as some drivers. So I think that's a good driver to start with, or some Undertakers.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I have this to show. I don't know. You guys probably have never seen this before, but since you talk so much Innova, I do have a Daedalus that does have a custom stamp for your boys here.
Oh, that's awesome.
I am more than happy to send it to you guys.
Dude,
if you'd like to have it and throw it, because we'd love to see it in action.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah. We would love to do that. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, you show us a disc and we're instantly like, yeah, let's throw it. Let's go.
Yeah. See these guys, they're like, it is just
light up. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to send it to y'all. So actually, I'll be in town in a few weeks because there's a little special guy here in the left corner is having his bachelor party.
Ooh, congrats. Yeah.
So,
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to drop that off over to you guys.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah, we would love to. We would love to check that around.
Well, fellas, we end our interviews, every interview we do, with the same exact question. And Justin, we're not sponsored by this company, but
we wish.
It's It's close enough, you know. What is your Skyline order? We got to hear it.
Okay, mine is always a regular 3-way, and then a plain cheese coney, and then I'm really disappointed now because Pepsi no longer is partnered with Skyline. It's now Coke.
Well, it's only like certain locations, right?
Oh,
Like,
I didn't realize that. I've been to the I haven't been to the one in Clifton yet, so I haven't been able to tell. But the 2 in Dayton, and then there's one up in Mason. That all 3 of them are Coke products now. But I used to get, I would get the 3-way, the plain cheese coney, and then pink lemonade. Always got to go with the pink lemonade. Pink lemonade
like
slaps.
that. Okay.
And then eat 3 packs of crackers throughout.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
say 3 or 83.
It doesn't. It depends on how hungry I'm feeling.
That's just cost of doing business.
Yeah.
I think I hope me and Tanner are not too big of a buzzkill here.
A little bit of a bummer here.
Well, me personally, I eat weird. That's how I explain it. I don't eat a lot of food, so I have not had Skyline in 10 years. I haven't eaten out.
I failed as a president.
I have not eaten out at any place besides like a Chipotle in over 3 years. So it's not that uncommon. I loved Skyline back when I had it. 3-way was my go-to, but again, I haven't had it in a long time.
Hold on. Look, I'm going to pause you here, man. I'm going to pause you here. So not only are you successfully managing to keep your nose out of social media, which every person wishes they could do, you're also not eating fast food, and you're competing at the highest level, and you're currently the #1 ranked player in all of college disc golf. I think whatever this guy is doing, other people need to begin replicating.
I'm not willing to sacrifice
it's working.
Skyline. No, you can't make me sacrifice it. I would rather stay right where I am and eat my 3-way with pride.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah. Tommy, what about you?
So kind of like Ilkin, unfortunately, I actually have celiac disease and have to eat gluten-free.
He has an excuse.
So,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I have had a glimpse of the greatness of Skyline, but haven't had it in a while.
It comes at a cost.
Yes, a little bit of a cost. And so not something I've really been willing to sacrifice.
That's fair.
I get it. Hey, I got a buddy with celiac. He's weird though. He started like his girlfriend's just started feeding him like regular noodles, and he eats it and is like no problem. And I'm like, you're not really supposed to do that. Like, yeah. So that's their problem. I'll let them figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. Well, like Justin said, like, you know, it's definitely been really great to get to know you guys, get to talk to you guys a little bit. You know, get to support you guys, hopefully, as you guys continue to just do big things on the disc golf stage. Like you said, you have the Instagram and you're going to be doing more content, but what should we look out for this fall from you guys?
This fall, we're going to be doing a couple of qualifiers, a couple of regional events. We're going to plan on hosting one, which we'll be posting about all over the place.
That's awesome.
So far, College Disc Golf hasn't posted the schedule for when the qualifiers or nationals are going to be. So chances are we're going to be playing one sometime in the fall and then one in the spring. Chances are it'll probably be either up in Michigan or out in Pennsylvania again, like we did this last season. But yeah, we're really hoping to get quite a few college events in, especially this fall. Probably a couple more I keep saying qualifiers. A couple more regionals with UK, Dayton, Indiana, OU, OSU, some stuff like that. Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
Get those regional rivalries going.
Yeah, honestly, that's something that we're trying to do, because they have regions, but they don't really like manage the regions very well. Right. And so it's a lot of like we had a regional event, and I think us, Dayton, and then one IU team showed up or something like that for our regional event. And we're like, guys, this isn't a regional. We were competing against ourselves at that point. Like we were the only, like we had all three of our teams compete. And Dayton, IU, and UC had their teams in the A pool, and then no other team had B pool. And so the B team and the C team for Cincinnati were just competing against each other in this B pool. And we're like, okay, I mean, whatever, it's fun.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, guys, like we said, thank you so much for being on the show. We're glad that we finally got you on. And like I said, we really do want to support you guys in any way we can. So whatever you need from us, let us know. We're going to try to put up some clips, get some exciting stuff out there. We'll try to share some more of your stuff. If you guys are on Twitter, we're on Twitter 24/7. We're not so much on Instagram.
We'll post your Instagram stuff to Twitter.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. Don't get on Twitter right now. It's bad.
Not a good time to start. Ilkin, if there's any platform that you're going to jump onto for the first time,
don't make it Twitter.
No.
There are too many bots and not very nice ones. Overall, like we said, any way we can help you guys, just let us know. And by all means, for those of you, again, who aren't already following, make sure to check them out on Instagram. They're going to have some more profiles here coming up soon, perhaps. So check that out. Like the clips, share the clips. And of course, as always, keep coming back to Viva La Cats. And, we'll try to just keep this thing going. We're really excited to see you guys grow, and
thank you so
excited
much.
to see you make another run. Hopefully we can make it 3 in a row for the
absolutely. That's the
plan.
Yep. We're taking it down this time, though.
Yes.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm in.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure having you on. And
Thanks
as
for having
for
us.
myself, Steve, our Discats brothers over here, thank you for listening this week. Make sure to check us out. We're going to be doing a couple more spotty shows throughout the summer until we get back into our normal swing of things weekly in the fall once football kicks up. So until next time.
Once disc golf kicks up, Justin, come on now.
That's right.
That's right.
There you go. Until next time. Viva
The Cats.
Heck yeah.